Have you ever encountered someone who seems completely different from everyone else, someone who appears to defy all expectations? If you've ever met an Aquarius, you know exactly what I mean. They are often considered one of the most unpredictable and enigmatic zodiac signs, leaving people both fascinated and perplexed. But what if I told you that there is a deeper reason behind their weirdness? One that goes beyond their behavior and into the very core of their personality? In today's video, we will dive into the fascinating world of Aquarius and uncover the unique traits that make them stand out from the crowd. From their intellectual depth to their unconventional views on love and relationships, Aquarians are not easily understood. Their need for independence, their quest for truth, and their sometimes mysterious nature often lead them to be misjudged by others. But as we explore the intricacies of their personality, you may start to see them in a completely new light. What makes Aquarius truly fascinating is their ability to balance emotional detachment with intense loyalty, their struggle with expressing physical affection despite a rich emotional world, and their constant drive to break free from societal expectations. These are just some of the complexities we'll explore today, and by the end of this video, you might find yourself questioning everything you thought you knew about this mysterious air sign. So, why do Aquarians behave the way they do? How can understanding their nature help you improve your own relationships and embrace your uniqueness? Stick with us to the end, because in just a few moments, we'll reveal the one thing that could completely change the way you view Aquarius, and trust me, it's something you won't want to miss. Before we dive in, if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. This way, you won't miss any of our upcoming videos filled with insightful content on astrology, personal growth, and how to live a peaceful, balanced life. Let's get started on this journey of discovery together. 1. The value of sincerity over social niceties. One of the most significant traits that make Aquarius stand out is their unyielding commitment to honesty and sincerity. Unlike many other signs who follow the unspoken social contract of politeness and tact, Aquarius often embraces bluntness and a directness that others find shocking. For them, the pursuit of truth is more important than maintaining the comfort of social harmony. Aquarians don't have the time or energy for small talk. If they like you, they'll tell you exactly how they feel, no sugarcoating, no hidden agendas. They may comment on something you'd rather not hear, or their direct approach to conversation can feel confrontational. This honesty can be incredibly refreshing for those who appreciate transparency. But it can also be jarring for those who expect a gentler, more diplomatic approach. Astrological insight, ruled by Uranus, the planet of rebellion and individuality, Aquarians are wired to reject conventional societal norms, including the usual polite exchanges that are so deeply ingrained in many cultures. Their commitment to being true to themselves often leads to moments of awkwardness, but it's this sincerity that also makes them incredibly valuable friends and partners when their honesty aligns with those who understand them. Psychological perspective. From a psychological standpoint, Aquarians' directness can be seen as a result of their strong sense of self. Their personality doesn't rely on others' approval, which allows them to speak candidly. However, this can also create a barrier, especially in relationships where tact and careful communication are essential. The challenge for Aquarians is to balance their need for truth with the emotional sensitivity of others. 2. Loyalty to friendship over romantic fidelity. Another reason Aquarians often come across as weird is their preference for strong, platonic friendships over traditional romantic loyalty. While many people prioritize romantic fidelity and commitment, Aquarians tend to place more emphasis on the value of friendship and the deep, unwavering loyalty that comes with it. This perspective can be perplexing to those who view romantic relationships as the cornerstone of connection. For an Aquarius, a loyal friend is often seen as more valuable than a romantic partner who lacks trustworthiness or emotional depth. They believe that true loyalty transcends romantic boundaries, and often their best friendships are the foundation of their emotional world. Astrological insight. Aquarius is an air sign. And like most air signs, they value intellectual connections and shared ideas over emotional bonds alone. The nature of their relationships is often more about mutual understanding and respect than romantic desire. This desire for meaningful connections extends beyond the limitations of traditional romantic norms and highlights their preference for freedom in all aspects of life, including love. Psychological perspective. Psychologically, this inclination stems from Aquarians' need for freedom and independence. Their focus on friendship loyalty stems from the belief that true connection isn't about meeting traditional romantic expectations, but about genuine, unwavering support between individuals. This can sometimes confuse others, especially those who value romantic bonds above all else. For Aquarians, a deep emotional bond forged through years of trust and understanding in a friendship may surpass a fleeting romantic relationship that lacks those same foundations. This belief allows them to maintain a sense of freedom and stability at the same time, something most other signs may struggle to understand. 3. Defying unfair rules. The rebellious streak of Aquarius. Aquarius is often labeled as rebellious because of their deep-seated desire to question authority and reject any rule or system that feels unjust or restrictive. Unlike many others who follow the rules simply because they are the rules, Aquarians have a strong sense of justice and will not hesitate to challenge systems they believe are flawed. For Aquarians, fairness is paramount. If they feel that something isn't right, they will speak up, even if it means going against the grain or breaking established norms. This rejection of blind obedience makes them seem unpredictable to those who are more comfortable following rules without question. However, their need to fight for justice often aligns them with causes and movements that seek to create positive change in society. Astrological insight. The influence of Uranus. The planet of innovation and rebellion means that Aquarians are often driven to create change, challenge old structures, and break free from convention. They see themselves as the visionaries who can reshape the world, which is why they tend to resist any form of oppression or unfairness. They are not afraid to be seen as weird in the pursuit of fairness and equality. Psychological perspective. From a psychological standpoint, this behavior stems from Aquarians' strong sense of individualism and their need to assert their beliefs in a way that feels authentic to them. Aquarians are not comfortable with the idea of blindly conforming to societal norms or expectations. Their intellect and curiosity drive them to constantly question and analyze, seeking new ways to improve their world, even if it means pushing against traditional boundaries. 4. Emotional detachment, yet intense emotional connections. Aquarians often appear emotionally detached, but this is far from the truth. Their emotional landscape is complex and intense. Yet they tend to express their feelings in ways that are more intellectual or abstract than physical. While other signs may display affection openly and frequently, Aquarians often find it difficult to express their emotions through touch or physical closeness. However, this emotional reserve should not be mistaken for a lack of passion. Once an Aquarius feels secure in their emotional bonds, their affections can be profound and overwhelming. This contrast between their seemingly aloof exterior and the depth of their emotions is what often leads people to see them as weird. Astrological insight. As an air sign, Aquarius tends to prioritize mental and intellectual connection over emotional or physical expressions of affection. Their ruling planet, Uranus, brings an element of unpredictability, so their emotional responses can shift from distant to deeply engaged once they feel secure in a relationship. Their desire for emotional independence can sometimes make them appear cold, but it's simply their way of protecting their inner world. Psychological perspective. Psychologically, Aquarians' emotional detachment can be seen as a defense mechanism. They may struggle with vulnerability, which is why they often keep their emotions hidden until they feel truly comfortable with someone. This can make them seem emotionally elusive, but in reality, it's their way of ensuring that they don't get hurt by opening up too quickly. Once they feel a deep emotional connection, however, their affections are unwavering. 5. Fierce protection of their work and image. Aquarians are deeply connected to their work and their image, often viewing their professional achievements as extensions of their identity. They are sensitive to any form of criticism or disrespect towards the work they have put so much effort into. For Aquarians, their work represents not just their skills, but their unique perspective and contribution to the world. Any attack on their work feels like an attack on who they are as individuals. This fierce pride in their work can make Aquarians seem self-centered or overly sensitive, but it's important to understand that their connection to their career or creative projects is a reflection of their deep commitment to their personal values and visions. They are driven by a need to express themselves through their work, and any form of devaluation or belittlement strikes at the heart of their self-worth. Astrological insight: Aquarians are ruled by Uranus, the planet of individuality and originality. As such, they often have a unique approach to their careers and personal endeavors. They see their work not just as a job, but as a calling or mission to share their ideas and contribute to the greater good. This connection to their work is part of their deep-seated need to be seen and understood for who they truly are. Psychological perspective: From a psychological perspective, Aquarians' sensitivity to criticism can stem from their intense internal self-examination. They invest deeply in their work because it reflects their identity and their purpose. Criticism, especially when it feels unjust, can feel like a personal rejection of their core beliefs and values. Which is why Aquarians will often react strongly to any form of disrespect towards their professional image. 6. The complex nature of their sarcasm. Aquarians are known for their distinctive sense of humor, particularly their use of sarcasm. However, this is not your typical, lighthearted sarcasm. For an Aquarius, sarcasm is often deeply intellectual and serves as a tool for social commentary or self-expression. Their sarcastic remarks can be intricate, layered, and sometimes even cryptic, leaving others confused or unsure of their true intentions. This type of humor can be off-putting to people who aren't accustomed to Aquarius's intellectual approach to humor. While others might use sarcasm to lighten the mood or make a quick joke, Aquarians often use it to challenge societal norms, question conventional thinking, or point out contradictions in the world around them. As a result, their sarcasm can sometimes be misinterpreted, adding to their weird reputation. Astrological insight: Ruled by Uranus, the planet of rebellion and innovation, Aquarians are often interested in pushing boundaries, whether in ideas or humor. This playful, yet profound use of sarcasm serves as a way for them to express their unique perspective on the world. It also aligns with their need to make others think, rather than just entertain them. Psychological perspective: From a psychological standpoint, this complex sarcasm can be a form of intellectual defense. Aquarians, who often feel misunderstood, use sarcasm as a shield to keep people at a distance while still revealing their thoughts on deeper topics. It can also serve as a way to challenge others' viewpoints, pushing them to consider alternative perspectives. However, this can often lead to miscommunication and make them seem emotionally distant or difficult to read. 7. The desire for freedom and independence in relationships. Aquarians have a profound need for freedom, and this extends into their relationships. They are fiercely independent individuals, often unwilling to sacrifice their autonomy for the sake of romantic commitment. For Aquarians, their personal space and individuality are non-negotiable, and any attempt to control or confine them can lead to emotional withdrawal. While other signs may crave stability and deep emotional connection in long-term relationships, Aquarians tend to prefer relationships that allow them to grow, explore, and maintain their independence. They are not necessarily interested in traditional commitment, as they often seek partners who understand their need for freedom and personal growth. This can make them seem emotionally distant, detached, or even non-committal, especially to those who place a higher value on closeness and loyalty in relationships. Astrological insight: Aquarius is an air sign, and air signs are known for their need for intellectual freedom and exploration. Aquarians' ruling planet, Uranus, further intensifies their desire to break free from convention. They value mental and emotional independence above all, making them resistant to relationships that may limit their ability to be themselves. Psychological perspective. From a psychological perspective, Aquarians' need for freedom can be rooted in a fear of losing their identity. They value their individuality and seek relationships that respect this aspect of themselves. The challenge for Aquarians is to find balance between their desire for independence and the emotional needs of their partner, which can be difficult for those who are more emotionally dependent. 8. The dual nature of Aquarius, life of the party or solitary thinker? Aquarius is a sign known for its dual nature. On one hand, they can be the life of the party, full of energy, charisma, and charm. They have an innate ability to captivate people and draw attention with their unique ideas and personality. But on the other hand, Aquarians can also be intensely introspective, preferring solitude to social interaction. This unpredictability in their social behavior can make them seem strange or weird to those around them. One moment they might be engaging with everyone at a party, and the next, they'll retreat into their own world, lost in thought or deep reflection. This inconsistency can confuse people who expect a more stable social behavior and leads to Aquarius's reputation for being emotionally elusive. Astrological insight. Aquarius, as an air sign, is ruled by the planet Uranus, which represents sudden change and unpredictability. This influence creates a natural ebb and flow in their social life, where they oscillate between seeking connection and desiring solitude. Their social behavior can shift based on their intellectual and emotional state at any given time. Psychological perspective. From a psychological perspective, Aquarius's dual nature can be seen as a reflection of their need for balance between external stimulation and internal reflection. They thrive on intellectual connection and social engagement, but also need time alone to recharge and process their thoughts. Their ability to switch between these modes makes them intriguing but can also lead to misunderstandings. 9. Their constant search for novelty and new experiences. Aquarians are notorious for their curiosity and their need to experience new things. Whether it's exploring new ideas, pursuing unconventional hobbies, or embarking on adventurous journeys, Aquarians are always on the lookout for novelty. This insatiable thirst for new experiences often leads them to act impulsively, diving headfirst into projects, relationships, or activities without necessarily considering the consequences. For those who prefer stability and routine, Aquarians' constant search for the next big thing can seem erratic or even irresponsible. Their desire for novelty drives them to seek out the unusual, the extraordinary, and the unconventional, which makes them stand out in any crowd. But this drive can also make them seem weird, as they may prioritize exploration over practicality or safety. Astrological insight. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the planet of change and innovation. Uranus drives Aquarians to constantly question the status quo and seek new experiences that challenge traditional norms. This desire for novelty is not just about excitement, but about finding new ways to think, live, and understand the world. Psychological perspective. Psychologically, Aquarians' need for novelty can stem from a desire to avoid boredom and stagnation. Their intellectual curiosity requires them to constantly engage with the world in new ways. This drive for new experiences can make them feel alive, but it can also lead to feelings of restlessness and dissatisfaction if they don't find a meaningful outlet for their curiosity. 10. The Aquarius need for emotional space in relationships. Aquarians have a strong need for emotional space, which can make them seem emotionally distant or aloof. They often prefer to process their feelings privately and are not quick to open up to others about their inner world. While other signs may thrive on emotional closeness and vulnerability, Aquarians tend to maintain a sense of emotional independence that can be difficult for others to understand. This need for space does not mean that Aquarians are incapable of deep emotional connections. Rather, it's about their preference for self-reliance and the ability to manage their emotions without relying on others. In relationships, this emotional distance can make Aquarians seem cold or unapproachable, especially if their partner is seeking constant reassurance or closeness. Astrological insight: Aquarius is an air sign, which makes them more comfortable with intellectual connections than emotional ones. The influence of Uranus further heightens their desire for autonomy and independence, which can make it challenging for them to navigate the emotional dynamics of relationships. They need to feel free to process their emotions on their own terms, which can sometimes be misunderstood as emotional detachment. Psychological perspective: from a psychological standpoint, Aquarians' need for emotional space can be seen as a coping mechanism. They tend to be introspective and thoughtful, preferring to work through their emotions privately rather than seek external validation. This desire for emotional space allows them to maintain a sense of control over their inner world, but it can also create distance between them and those who need more emotional connection. 11. Aquarius's passionate, yet unpredictable approach to intimacy. While Aquarians may come across as emotionally distant and cerebral in many aspects of their lives, they can surprise others with their intensity when it comes to intimacy. Their approach to physical closeness is unpredictable, often contradictory to their otherwise reserved nature. At times, they can seem detached or indifferent, yet once they feel a sense of trust and emotional safety, their passion can be overwhelming. Aquarians may not easily show affection through typical expressions like cuddling or holding hands. However, once they open up, their passion is deep and transformative, catching their partner off guard. This stark contrast between emotional distance and passionate intimacy often leads others to label them as weird because their behavior in intimate situations doesn't follow the usual emotional cues seen in other signs. Astrological insight: Aquarius is an air sign, driven more by intellectual and mental connections than by physical affection. Their ruling planet, Uranus, pushes them to seek novel experiences and to explore different ways of connecting with others. When it comes to intimacy, their desire for uniqueness and excitement manifests in surprising and unconventional ways. Psychological perspective: psychologically, Aquarians' complex relationship with intimacy can stem from their struggle to balance their need for personal space with their desire for emotional and physical connection. Once they feel secure, their emotional and physical engagement can be intense, but until that point, they may resist overt displays of affection. 12. The Aquarius confidant: detached yet deeply reliable. Despite their emotional detachment and intellectual tendencies, Aquarians make excellent confidants. They are reliable, thoughtful listeners who provide valuable advice without becoming emotionally entangled in others' issues. Their approach to friendship is unique in that they give space to those around them, respecting their boundaries while also being available when needed. This ability to remain emotionally detached while still being present for others is what sets Aquarians apart from many other zodiac signs. However, this balance of emotional detachment and deep loyalty can make Aquarians seem weird to people who expect their friends to be more emotionally involved or readily available. While an Aquarius will stand by you through thick and thin, they may not be the type to offer constant emotional reassurance or physical comfort, which can make them seem aloof to those who seek closeness in friendships. Astrological insight: Aquarians are ruled by Uranus, the planet of individuality, which encourages them to form connections that respect both personal space and mutual trust. They value relationships that are based on intellectual understanding and emotional freedom, making them strong yet independent allies. Psychological perspective: from a psychological standpoint, Aquarians' detachment in friendships allows them to offer an objective perspective, making them excellent problem solvers and advice givers. Their ability to listen without becoming overly involved emotionally allows them to maintain a calm and balanced approach, which is highly valued in times of need. 13. Aquarius's need to analyze and overthink emotions. One of the defining characteristics of Aquarius is their intellectual nature. Rather than allowing emotions to flow naturally, Aquarians often need to analyze their feelings before expressing them. This can make them seem distant or emotionally unavailable, as they tend to intellectualize their emotions rather than feeling them in a raw, spontaneous way. While other signs might act on instinct or express their feelings without much thought, Aquarians take a more methodical approach. They tend to scrutinize their own emotions, sometimes overthinking to the point of second-guessing themselves. This analytical process can be frustrating to partners or friends who expect more direct emotional expressions. The tendency to overanalyze can also create emotional distance, leaving others unsure about how Aquarius truly feels. Astrological insight. As an air sign, Aquarius is naturally inclined to process information through the mind rather than through emotional expression. The influence of Uranus encourages them to question and analyze everything, including their own emotions, making them prone to overthinking rather than simply experiencing feelings as they arise. Psychological perspective. Psychologically, Aquarians' need to analyze their emotions may be a coping mechanism to maintain control over their feelings. For someone who values independence and freedom, allowing their emotions to overwhelm them can feel like a loss of personal autonomy. By intellectualizing their emotions, Aquarians create a buffer between themselves and their more vulnerable sides. 14. Aquarius's early relationship intensity and sudden withdrawal. At the start of romantic relationships, Aquarians can be surprisingly intense. They may express deep passion and enthusiasm for their partner, which can be confusing for those who are more accustomed to Aquarians' generally aloof demeanor. However, after this intense phase, they may pull away just as quickly once they've experienced the thrill of the connection. This shift from fiery passion to emotional detachment can leave their partner feeling uncertain about where they stand in the relationship. Aquarians tend to dive headfirst into relationships, but as soon as they feel they have reached emotional clarity or security, they may withdraw to preserve their independence. This behavior can be perceived as inconsistency or emotional unavailability, making them seem unpredictable and weird in the eyes of others. Astrological insight. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the planet of sudden changes and surprises. This influence leads Aquarians to experience relationships in a somewhat volatile manner. They crave the excitement and novelty that comes with new experiences, but may withdraw when they feel that the relationship is becoming too routine or restrictive. Psychological perspective. Psychologically, this behavior is tied to Aquarians' need for freedom and autonomy. The early intensity in a relationship is an expression of their intellectual curiosity and desire for exploration. But once they feel they have gained enough understanding of the connection, they retreat to protect their emotional independence. 15. Aquarius's intellectual overdrive and disconnect from the emotional world. Aquarians are intellectually driven individuals who thrive on mental stimulation and abstract ideas. They are constantly seeking out new knowledge, exploring philosophical concepts, and engaging in intellectual debates. While this intellectual passion is what makes them fascinating to some, it can also create a disconnect between them and people who are more emotionally focused. For many Aquarians, the world of emotions may seem secondary to their desire for intellectual growth and exploration. They might engage in deep conversations about complex topics but struggle to relate to the emotional experiences of others. This can make them seem weird because their interests and conversations may be entirely disconnected from the emotional realm that most people rely on to bond with others. Astrological insight. Aquarius, as an air sign, is ruled by the planet Uranus, which is associated with innovation, intellectual exploration, and a break from tradition. Aquarians are more likely to engage with abstract ideas, technological advancements, and unconventional philosophies than to focus on traditional emotional bonds. Psychological perspective. From a psychological perspective, Aquarians' tendency to prioritize intellectual pursuits over emotional connection may stem from their deep desire for independence and understanding. Their intellectual nature provides them with a sense of security, whereas emotions can sometimes feel overwhelming or chaotic. As a result, they may gravitate toward the clarity and control of intellectual exploration. 16. The Aquarius desire to experience new things, no matter the risk. One of Aquarius's most defining traits is their unquenchable thirst for new experiences. They are naturally curious and often dive headfirst into unfamiliar territories, whether it's a new idea, hobby, or adventure. This desire for novelty is not driven by boredom, but by a deep-seated need to explore the unknown and challenge the status quo. Aquarians have a tendency to act impulsively when they feel drawn to something new. They might jump into a project or relationship without fully considering the consequences because for them, the thrill of discovery and the process of learning are what matter most. This behavior can make them seem reckless or unpredictable to others, especially those who prefer stability and routine. However, to Aquarius, it's not about being reckless, it's about the excitement and personal growth that come from embracing the unfamiliar. Astrological insight: Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the planet of sudden change and innovation, which drives their curiosity and desire to experience new things. This planetary influence encourages them to constantly seek out new ways to think, live, and relate to the world. Aquarians thrive on novelty and the thrill of the unknown, which is why they may appear weird to those who prefer the comfort of the familiar. Psychological perspective: from a psychological standpoint, this need for novelty is linked to Aquarius's innate desire for self-discovery. They are constantly evolving, and the only way to grow is by pushing boundaries and stepping outside their comfort zone. This exploration of the unknown is their way of finding new aspects of themselves and the world, even if it means embracing risk and uncertainty. 17. Aquarius's need for freedom and independence. Aquarians are perhaps the most independent sign of the zodiac. Their need for freedom is a fundamental part of their personality, and it can sometimes make them seem aloof, detached, or emotionally distant. Unlike many other signs that thrive in committed, close-knit relationships, Aquarians value their personal space and autonomy above all else. They resist being controlled or confined by any person or situation, preferring to chart their own path in life. In relationships, Aquarians may seem distant or non-committal because they fear losing their freedom. They will go to great lengths to preserve their independence, even if it means making others feel left out or disconnected. While they do value loyalty and companionship, their need for personal space often takes precedence, leading to misunderstandings about their true feelings. Astrological insight: Aquarius is an air sign, and air signs are known for their intellectual nature and love for freedom. Their ruling planet, Uranus, amplifies their desire for independence and autonomy. Aquarians need to feel that they have control over their own lives and will resist any situation or relationship that threatens this freedom. Psychological perspective: psychologically, this need for independence can be traced to Aquarius's self-reliant nature. They feel most secure when they can make their own choices and decisions without interference from others. For Aquarians, emotional intimacy doesn't mean losing their sense of self, but rather finding a way to share their life while maintaining autonomy. This delicate balance can make them seem distant to those who want more closeness and emotional support. 18. Aquarius's emotional detachment can be misunderstood as coldness. Aquarians are often misunderstood because of their emotional detachment. While they are incredibly thoughtful and caring, they tend to hide their emotions behind a calm and logical exterior. Aquarians are more likely to approach life through their intellect and abstract thinking than to express their emotions in a raw and vulnerable manner. This emotional reserve can make them seem cold or unapproachable, especially to those who are more emotionally expressive. Aquarians are not necessarily lacking in empathy or love. Rather, they process their emotions in a more intellectual way. They may not always know how to express their feelings through physical touch or words, which can create a sense of distance in their relationships. Astrological insight: as an air sign, Aquarius tends to prioritize mental connections over emotional ones. They are ruled by Uranus, which encourages them to approach life in an unconventional, non-emotional way. While this makes them excellent problem solvers and thinkers, it can also leave them feeling isolated from others who connect more easily through emotions. Psychological perspective. From a psychological standpoint, Aquarians' emotional detachment may be a coping mechanism. They tend to intellectualize their feelings to maintain control and avoid vulnerability. While this may make them seem detached, it's often their way of protecting themselves from emotional overwhelm. Once they feel safe, they can be deeply loyal and supportive, but their initial emotional distance can be challenging for those seeking immediate emotional closeness. 19. The unpredictability of Aquarius. One moment social, the next, a solitary thinker. Aquarians are known for their unpredictability, particularly when it comes to their social behavior. They can be the life of the party one moment, captivating everyone with their charisma, unique ideas, and energetic personality. But the next moment, they may retreat into solitude, lost in their thoughts or seeking space to recharge. This duality in their social behavior can make Aquarians seem weird because they don't fit into any one social mold. They may seem outgoing and confident, yet at other times, they appear aloof and introverted. This inconsistency can confuse those who don't understand the Aquarius need for both social interaction and personal space. For Aquarians, their social energy is often tied to their intellectual engagement with others, and when they feel mentally overstimulated, they need solitude to process and recharge. Astrological insight. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the planet of change and disruption, which is why their social behavior can fluctuate so dramatically. This influence makes them both socially engaging and introspective, as they move between these two states based on their internal needs and external stimuli. Psychological perspective. Psychologically, Aquarians' social unpredictability can be seen as a response to their need for balance. They seek social connection and engagement when they are intellectually stimulated but need time alone to process their thoughts and feelings. This duality can make them seem unpredictable or weird to those who expect more consistency in social behavior. Conclusion. Embrace the uniqueness of Aquarius. In conclusion, Aquarius is one of the most fascinating, complex, and misunderstood zodiac signs. Their blend of intellectual depth, emotional detachment, and a constant quest for novelty and independence sets them apart from other signs in ways that can be perceived as weird or unconventional. However, these traits also make Aquarians incredibly unique and valuable individuals. Their ability to think outside the box, challenge norms, and embrace personal freedom allows them to bring fresh perspectives and innovation to the world around them. Aquarians are not easy to understand, but once you embrace their individuality and recognize the beauty in their complexity, you'll realize that their weirdness is just a reflection of their brilliance. They are visionaries, often ahead of their time, and they teach us the importance of embracing our true selves, even if it doesn't fit within conventional expectations. So, the next time you meet an Aquarius, remember that their quirks and eccentricities are part of what makes them so extraordinary. Whether you're an Aquarius yourself or someone trying to understand one, remember that there's more beneath the surface than meets the eye. If you found this video insightful and want to learn more about Aquarius, astrology, and how to apply these cosmic insights to your own life, make sure to subscribe to Zen Mind Peaceful Life. Hit the notification bell so you never miss out on future videos filled with astrological wisdom, personal growth tips, and a peaceful mindset. We're here to guide you on your journey of self-discovery and growth. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.